What's up guys, and welcome back to Tech Plant. This video has been about 6 months or more in the making. I'm going to show you how to start lemon trees from seeds in 4 different ways, so let's check it out.
So to get started, obviously you're going to need your fruit of choice to harvest the seeds from.
When life gives you lemons, you plant them.
Anyways, so yeah, you're going to chop these things up. And when I say chop these up, I mean peel them, because if you try and cut straight through, the seeds are pretty soft and you'll definitely chop through them and damage them. So I recommend peeling them and just kind of digging the seeds out just so you don't destroy them. I also recommend buying more than one lemon because some of them don't have many seeds, and you want to start a lot of seeds because you'll see later in the video some of the plants are kind of runty compared to the other ones, so you want to start with a solid base so you can pick from there. Also, we're actually going to do 4 different methods because every time I do a seed growing thing, someone always recommends a different way, so I'm going to try as many as possible. We're going to do some in the wet paper towel and bag method, and we're going to do others directly in soil. And to make it even more complex, we're actually going to skin some of the seeds, as you'll see here, to make it a little different and see if it changes things. At the end, you'll know which method works the best, but if you want to follow along with the experiment yourself, you're going to want to peel about half your seeds so you can try that method also. Just use a sharp blade or piece of metal and just kind of work the skin off around the brown seed. You'll know you peeled too much off if you got past the brown skin and back to kind of the slight yellow color. So here I'm actually going to divide them up evenly. We're going to do some peeled ones in a bag and soil and some non-peeled ones in a bag and soil. So for the bag portion of the experiment, I'm just going to throw a paper towel in a sandwich bag, get it wet with some spring water or distilled water. Then I'm just going to toss in the equal number of peeled seeds in one bag and then the skin remaining seeds in the other. Then with the remaining seeds, we're just going to sow straight to soil. I'm using kind of like a tropical plant soil. I know there's citrus soil you're probably better off starting out with, and honestly even seed starting soil, but this is what I had on hand and this is what I'm going to use. So much like the bag, I'm just going to take the 2 separate batches, poke some holes about, I don't know, ½ an inch deep, and place the seeds inside. So on the left one we're going to put the peeled ones, and on the right one we're going to put the unpeeled seeds. By the way, I hope you guys like that I'm doing like 4 different methods. I'm doing this with all my future videos going forward. That way we can truly see what works best, because there's a lot of different videos on YouTube and I'd like to see what works best, at least for me, and show you what I found works best. Alright, so 15 days after sowing the seeds, the winner so far is the one that I left the skins on and put in the soil. The next best one is the ones that I skinned and put in soil. They're starting to sprout, as you can see here. And the worst is going to be the skinned in the bag, and the ultra worst is the unskinned bagged one because it just disappeared. I think I accidentally threw it away, but either way there's no action coming from them. Here's what the seedlings look at after about 35 more additional days, and you can see they're pretty much the same. I didn't film it, but the ones in the bag had rotted over and were squishy, and I threw them out next, so that was a total failure. I do not recommend using the bag method. As far as plant height at this point, I don't think that matters with the seedlings. However, I do notice that the ones without the skin seem to be a little more yellow. I don't know if the skin supplies like an essential nutrient for the seedlings or something or what, but I do notice that is the big defining difference. 2 more months have passed and here we are with the seedlings. They're now pretty large and I'm going to repot them. Sadly, one little guy perished, and this is exactly why you guys must plant more than 1 or 2 seeds. You want to plant a bunch so you can kind of cull and keep the healthiest plants in the end. At this point, I think the key differences in all the plants is not how we started them, but the actual seed genetics. Because remember, you're using random seeds from these lemons and you have no idea what genetics are inside. As far as my recommendation for starting these plants, I would just throw them in with the skin and all right into some soil. I think that's going to work the best and give you the best results. There's no need to skin them at this point because they both come out to about the same. So all I'm going to do now is kind of pull them out of their seedling pots, separate them, and replant them all into their own pots about the size that I think they need for now for the size that they are. As far as the soil type, you probably should buy some citrus tree soil. It's going to probably do the best and have the proper nutrients, but I'm just going to use a mix that I have on hand. I'm not sure what it was at the time, but it seemed to be working. I'm not going to cull any plants at this time, but if you have like 10 plants, you might want to just take the 10 or not the 10 best, like 5 best or 2 best, kind of however many you want to end with. When growing any fruit trees from seed, you're always kind of gambling with genetics, so again, this is why you have to start many seeds so you can get the desirable plant that you want. I did cut back the really tall skinny one because I wanted to start branching out a little bit. I don't want it to be just one tall column. And then I took the top that I chopped off and I tried to graft it on just to see what would happen. I did not do this in any remote professional way, but we'll see what happens. It is now October 5th and it has been 5 months since we planted these seeds. Now that these saplings are starting to get older, you can see their character and their genetics really coming out. Some are still really runty and very small. Kind of reminds me how I grew up, but anyways, other ones are really long and lanky, and then there's some that are already starting to branch out quite nicely. I definitely don't need this many lemon trees, but right now they're not taking too much space up, so I'm going to keep growing them all until I can find a desirable few that I do want to keep. While growing these, I did discover that citrus trees do have thorns, but a lot of the hybrids that we see, they kind of breed it out of them, I think, and that's why you don't see them in like pictures. But again, it's cool to see the genetic lottery that your seeds have and seeing what they develop. Here they are on December 18th, and now it's been about 7 months since we planted these seeds, and you can see they're getting quite tall. Although there still is 2 runts, but again, that's probably just genetics. At this point, I haven't fertilized these at all, which I probably should have been because citrus trees are heavy feeders, especially lemon trees, and I did notice that they look like they're almost getting some sort of iron deficiency. So I went to the store, I got some kind of general fertilizer, and I got some iron pellets, and I started treating these like once a week with that. They do make specialized fertilizers for citrus and lemon trees, and I definitely recommend doing that because it's going to have a blend that your trees will like. Again, these are heavy feeders, so read the back of the package and feed them accordingly. It's always exciting to me when like a tree or sapling that I'm growing actually starts to get like bark. Then it starts to feel like a real tree to me and not just some vegetable, so this is exciting. This footage here is from January 15th, so very recently. It has been a total of 8 months, and you can see these are little saplings at this point. I don't think we should be calling them seedlings anymore because they have made tons of progress. The leaf color has really improved since I started giving it more iron and just fertilizer in general, and they're doing really good now, so I'm really glad that I did that and it helped out a lot. The next steps are going to be to keep repotting these as it gets larger, and eventually I'm going to have to decide to prune it and top them to promote more bushy growth or leave it so it becomes tall and skinny. That's kind of up to you, and I can definitely produce a video about that in the future. And just to finish this off, here they are side by side from each period of time so you can really see the progress these plants made. This attempt at growing these trees was super fun, and I can't wait to see where they are in the next few years.
Well guys, that pretty much sums up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It took me a very long time to actually produce this, and if you made it this far through the video, thanks for watching. I hope you guys try one of these methods and get a nice pretty lemon tree growing for yourselves. As always guys, may your plants grow strong and healthy. I'll see you next time.